All right, this is the miniature campaign game room, and these fellas are playing miniature campaign battles. Many of these fellows have been wargaming for years against each other, and we're not going to disturb them. Just step along a little bit. And there's Kevin. Hello, Walt. I know you're not doing Pony Wars today. What are you doing?
We're doing Guerre. It's a game we've been playing since 2014. Most of the people in this room I've known for 30, 40 years. We've been playing back to the old WRG 7th. Then we went on to Field of Glory. And it's, thank God, this came out because this is all based on, ADLG is based on the DBM, DBA gaming system that's been around for ages for 30 years. So, but what it is, it's an in-between. It's not as small as, it's bigger than DBA, but it's smaller than the DBMMs and all the other historical ancient games that are out there. But it's very clear, it's very clean, and it's very concise on how the game system works. It does cover the period from about, the Sumerians right up to the War of the Roses. And so in tournaments, you can have themed tournaments where you stay in a narrow area, or you can have broad tournaments like we have here. We've broken it down to those armies that go from the Sumerians up to about the late Romans, or in an early period, and then those knights that have knights from like the Anglo-Normans right up to the late medieval. In fact, we have two War of the Roses armies here, right up to that period. And they all, are they historical? No, but it's a tournament, so you're really sharpening your skills and learning how to play the rules and to move the figures.
Well, I need to ask then, so let's say the player Kevin, who I saw is playing, and he wins, does he go on and play another player then?
Right, what he'll do is, for example, winners will play winners, people that don't win will drop down and play less fortunate players, and people that have draws will get mixed into the middle. So
now the person who wins at the end of the day, do they get like a check for $5,000 from you or something like that as an award?
They get plaques.
Kevin can fly.
He'd become a professional if they paid $5,000.
Kevin's 20 feet away and he heard that.
We give out plaques, and there are some awards. Usually, if we're working with vendors, we give awards to the people that come in at the very bottom just for showing up and learning and playing. But for the most part, it's always plaques.
All right. Well, thank you all for enlightening me on this, and it's interesting to see that these tables are much smaller.
Well, they are. They're very small. They're 48 inches wide. They're 32 inches deep. It takes about 20 to 30 elements, and those elements can have 3 figures if they're cavalry or 8 figures if they're foot, so it varies. In fact, real quick, I want to bring you over and show you Brian's army.
Okay.
Brian's running a late Roman army that he printed 3D. So this, what you'll see on Brian's side are late Romans, and he's playing Joe DiCamillo's. Joe, you're running Assyrians.
All right, you guys mind if I get a close-up real quick? Wow, and what scale are these?
15.
They are 15. Wow, and they're painted so nicely. I'm gonna hit these archers and blow them up a bit. Wow, when I hit them with the camera, it's amazing. They just pop. So
what you basically have is he has 3 commands: a command of auxilia, a command of, those are heavy foot, Brian, and then he has his cavalry wing down there. And he's opposed by Joe's cavalry wing. Joe's got some chariots, and then Joe's either all mixed units or a semi-mix. So he's got units of mixed units. So, and then over here is Robert, who did a fantastic job painting War of the Roses.
Okay.
And Jim is running a Spanish army of about the same time period.
wow. Now the pikes. So what time period is this? Because people that watch my YouTube channel, so is this
War of the Roses.
War of the Roses?
This is actually Henry VIII.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a very, very tail end of what you call the War of the Roses. So he was in France in 1513. He hired Landsknechts, and he had Scottish horsemen, and English longbowmen, obviously. So
Okay, and is there artillery in this era? This is an era that
there
I'm not.
is, and you can even, people tend not to use it in the games because it's not very mobile, and you gotta figure out how you're gonna sight it.
Oh, all right.
So it's always a problem.
Well, let's get back to Walt.
Let's not.
Now, I can tell everyone in this room loves Walt. And I have discovered Kevin can hear me from 40 feet away. Well, how do you want to close out the video?
Am I taping now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just, you might want to edit this. I hadn't thought about it.
Okay, Walt. Well, we're here, and I see Kevin is over there.
Yep, Colonel Handsome's here today. He managed to draw, I think, in the first round. So now he's playing Jim, and Jim had a draw in the first round.
Okay.
We don't get that many draws, but anyway. And so after this round, we've got a third round this afternoon, and then we hand out the plaques, and everybody goes home.
Very good. And I know that Kevin has been featured in many videos. He's quite famous for being handsome. And
I'm getting cream. Go away. Film somebody else.
all right, Walt, thank you for letting me intrude in your room here. It's very interesting to see all these fellows that have been friends for all these years and meeting together like this. All right, thank you, Walt. Hi, Mike. Are you having a good time today?
Having a good time.
It looks like
I
you're
lost
fighting.
my first game.
How is the Elephant Army treating you?
The Elephant Armies are very tricky to play with and very tricky to play against.
All right.
If I'm not really on my toes, he will absolutely destroy my army.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me interrupt you for 25 seconds. I wanted to include you in the video, Mike.
Thank you.
So, Walt, how did the Chuckleheads Wargame group name come about?
Well, it really came out of the ADLG tournaments. They do one that I thought was really neat. They do one where 10 teams or less would come together. Each team has 4 players on it. Each player will fight 5 rounds in a specific period. So you'll have a guy fighting biblical, a guy fighting classical, a guy fighting dark age, and a guy fighting medieval. And so they play 5 rounds in each one of their periods. And as the teams do, for example, if a team has 4 wins, they move right to the top. If they've got 2 wins and a loss and a draw, they'll be somewhere in the middle. And then the next round, the top teams play each other, and it goes right down the line again. So each team had a name. And so the one team out of DC was called the Beltway Bandits. The boys down south, they're known as the Bunnies. And you got that's out of Alabama. There's another group out of Louisiana that has a group. There's a group out of New England. And then there's several groups up here in the Mid-Atlantic region. So when the 4 of us got together, basically the Maryland group, we didn't have a name, and so somebody dropped the idea of Chuckleheads because we like to laugh a lot. So that was about 10 years ago, and we pretty much use it strictly for Art de la Guerre, is what we were playing. But then you come along and hear us talking about Chuckleheads, and then you decide you're going to start up, what is it, a messenger page?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you started that, so we took our shirts and we made you a member,
And I'm very happy and proud to be with the group. And what is there, 6 of us or 7 of us?
yeah, and it's growing. It's growing as far as people wanting to be Chuckleheads.
Yeah, you, Mike, Joe, Derek,
Bill.
Kevin,
Bill.
and we got
Jim.
and Goober the Traveling Bear.
Yes, and he's got his own shirt.
Yes, and well, Walt, thank you for explaining that to me. And it's so nice to see so many friends get together like you have here. And how far has someone traveled to get here?
The furthest was Mike Kelly, came all the way up from Petersburg, Virginia.
Wow.
Right.
That's a good 5-6 hour drive, probably.
Good 3 or 4 for sure. Yeah, good 4, probably 4.
All right. Well, thank you, Walt.
Okay.